something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
Well-behaved children. A good example of this is the American public school system and how children are taught to be compliant, to not listen to their own voices, and to be quiet. You have to ask permission before you can do anything. You're expected to sit at a desk for 6, 7, 8 hours a day with limited breaks, a short lunch, and yeah, you get social interaction, and that's great, but they're just being taught to be robots. I have a 10-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and 3-year-old, and I've had more than one person tell me, it's not quiet at your house. It's really loud every time I come over. Yeah, it is, because I allow my children to express themselves. Children are not, I've seen parents who are like, pride themselves on their well-behaved child who listens the very first time they say, hey, go pick that up. Hey, don't do this. Hey, do that. Hey, don't talk to me like that. And the child just goes, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, thank you. I want my child to have a voice and opinion, and they'll learn respect through.
What's something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
Okay, this might be very unpopular, but here I go. Mission trips. They reinforce the white savior complex. They can be very harmful, degrading, dehumanizing, and even racist. For the most part, they're self-serving and self-aggrandizing. Sure, are there some good mission trips out there? Of course there are. The most effective ones are the ones who collaborate with the local people, figure out what needs to be done, empower those people to continue to create those programs that will be sustainable long after the white people leave. But those images from your mission trip sure do look good on your church's website, don't they? And on your own personal Facebook profile. So sweet. And you might actually be doing more harm than good to the people that you're trying to help. Because if the government is oppressive in that country, then you might be contributing to that oppression. How? By showing up and filling in the gaps that they won't. Makes it easy for them to stay in power. Something to think about.
What's something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
Y'all, please, because I'm gonna need y'all to listen to this one real quick. One of the biggest pet peeves of mine, and it comes across a lot in friendships, and it's the reason why a lot of my friendships have ended, is that people will try to call off and pass off them being a complete asshole for them being blunt. And my thing is, I get the whole, oh, I like to tell it how it is type of thing, but it's a difference between telling it how it is and just completely bringing down the people around you. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up. And what really bothers me is that, like, most of the time these people won't see the wrong in what they're doing. And then they have the nerve to be surprised when nobody wants to be around them. Like, sis, maybe if you didn't just point out all of my insecurities.
What's something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
I have something to say as a Latina, and I can already hear the hate comments coming. But I cannot get behind these fucking influencers. You don't even have to be an influencer, just like any girl who glamorizes like narco culture. There's nothing glamorous about it. You're not even about that life. It's the fact that you think this is like a cute way to get followers, and you think it's like cute to share this with like your teenage like audience. Like, there's nothing cute about it. What makes it worse is that most of these influencers are the same ones that are like, oh, I'll never go to Mexico, it's too dangerous. Yet you're over here fucking talking about how you're about that narco life and you're a narco wife and all this bullshit. And on top of that, can we please stop with the, oh, soy tóxica? Like, stop with the fucking negative stereotypes about Latinas. Like, it's not cute. Instead, use your platform to spread awareness about important issues, not bullshit.
Something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic.
Hustle culture. This idea passed around by the Insta girlies and the boss babes that we need to be constantly working, constantly improving, constantly moving to reach those goals. All this does is reinforces the idea that we need to work ourselves to the bone in order to be successful or have a meaningful life. But listen here, Michaela. We're all just a clump of cells sat on a big fat rock that's hurling its way through space. Take a break.
What's something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
So I guess you could say I'm a relationship TikToker, and something that I see often are like these videos where it'll be like first year in a relationship and then second, third, fourth year in a relationship, and as time goes on, you know, they're less and less affectionate. They're like sitting on opposite ends of the couch. They're on their phones, not paying attention to each other. And so I don't know if this is so much glamorized, but it's definitely something that gets perpetuated online, that like the longer you're in a relationship, the less loving it is. And I think that's unfortunate, and I wouldn't call it toxic, but I would definitely call it like discouraging to people. It probably scares some people, and that's why I put like the content that I do out there, because I want to show that like you can still be in love if you're in a long-term relationship. And I'll agree, it's not always the funniest, but I do think it's important to show like healthy, loving relationships, and that's what I try to do.
Something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic.
Do not make nursing your whole life. I think it's particularly common in the nursing world to have the fact that you're a nurse be your entire identity. And I think that's a mistake. Don't get me wrong, I love being a nurse. All of my content on TikTok is about nursing. But it is no surprise that I've always been the best at my job when I've taken care of myself, when I've taken my vacations, when I've taken time for myself, when I've reduced my hours when I needed for mental health reasons. Like, I have always prioritized myself over my job. And I know that not everybody can afford to work less and take vacations, but I do know that a lot of people have set their lifestyles up so that they have to work so much in order to upkeep their lifestyle. And I think it messes with your physical and mental health. And I think that you shouldn't make nursing your whole life. And this isn't to judge anybody. I just think that not making nursing my whole life made me a happier person.
What's something that people glamorize that's actually just extremely toxic?
Bloggers who have the perfect morning routine with their kids, and they cut up all the little fucking lunch in the bento box with the love notes and the fucking hearts and the shaped apple like a fucking octopus. And their house is clean and they're dressed. The moms are dressed. Their hair's brushed. They've got makeup on. Where the fuck are you going? Where are you going? And then their kids are in perfect outfits and they're out the door like that. No, it doesn't work that way. That's toxic. That's toxic. It's a lie. It's a lie.
Whoa.